Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus read. I wanted to say a couple of things about readings too, because obviously, you know, I've been reading for a long time, and I have a lot of people who come back for another reading, a lot of repeat readings over the years, you know, people that I've got to know quite well. And sometimes, you know, I ask them questions about the readings because it's good for me to know, especially with things like timing and outcomes. And we all know that, you know, with readings, sometimes we see them a certain way and then the story turns out a little bit differently. And one of my favourites is a girl I had been reading for quite a long time, over a couple of years, who'd had a bad breakup in her relationship. And I finally saw her meeting someone new, and I said to her, "Are you going on holidays this year?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm thinking of going to overseas towards the end of the year." And I said, "That's fabulous, you're going to meet someone on your holiday." And we talked about it, and I didn't hear from her for a little while, and then I had a call from her after she'd been on her holiday, and it seemed it was the travel agent that she was to meet. So of course it was still connected to her holiday, but that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Sometimes we see things in a certain way and it might sort of be slightly different. So when you have readings from people, personal readings, you have to be a little open-minded, 5 of Wands hopping out here, about not being too literal in that sense, because sometimes we can get it exactly right and other times it might be something that you have to apply a little bit of your own intuition to. And that happens a little bit. And the same with timing. Sometimes people say, you know, how long will that take? And I'll sort of give them a bit of an idea. But again, we're talking divine timing. Spirit doesn't have time. That's a human concept. So sometimes, you know, I might say a period of time and I'll be exactly right. And other times it might change a little bit. But most times, you know, the reading in itself has come out in a few different ways. Sometimes the reading may take a little while to come through. I have readings that were done for me probably 3 years ago that are only just starting to really materialise. So we're not really sure how, you know, long things are going to take, whether they take exactly the same shape as what you think they're going to. And sometimes they're perfectly and exactly, you've got a brand new start with a water sign here. Sometimes things can really work out exactly as we see them, exactly. And that is the most amazing thing of all, is that sometimes they are just exactly right. So we're doing a bonus read here for you. And I'm using the Cosmic Tarot here. Okay, so I have the Death card coming out. So the Death card can represent the sign of Scorpio. Now, this is about transformation, and I always say it's not always the universe, you know, pushing you to have a transformation. Sometimes this is something you choose to do. You may choose to sort of change up your life, do some personal changes to yourself. You may decide to get into, you know, a new course, move house, you know, transform where you live, get a new job. But transformation can come from you, but it can also come from the universe. So something happening unexpected, something, you know, that makes you feel that you need to go inside and make changes internally. So it can be both internally and externally. But often this can be something quite small, or it can be something that really cuts to the very core, like you may transform through, greatest example, you know, when people have near-death experiences and they come back from those ready to make a brand new start, ready to really respect and appreciate their life. And sometimes I've seen people who've really been very lost, you know, find themselves through this sort of energy. So this is about something to do with, this could be something to do with transforming a relationship, but it feels to me more about transforming your work life. So you could be ready to change something in your work life. Maybe you're thinking about going out on your own, starting your own business up here, but investing in yourself here. This is really investing in yourself. You've closed out some sort of cycle here with the 10 of Wands, and moving into moving into something brand new. There's big celebration here, taking the lead in your own life after some sort of period of sadness here. But we do have the Sun card here, which is always beautiful to see in a reading, because it says to me, no matter what's happening here, you are moving towards your happiness. All right, so we have the Devil card coming out here. So the Devil card speaks of bondage, of obsession, being tied to something. It can be addiction, being addicted to something. It can also talk about the ego, living through the ego, not really understanding who you truly are, maybe wearing a mask. Okay, so Ten of Pentacles coming out here. Ten of Pentacles, beautiful card. Happy families, lots of money, being abundant. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. So this is about not releasing something here. Not releasing, so not realizing that holding on to things stops you being where you need to be. Let's put another card on that. Yeah. Okay. So what we've got here is there's an energy here of release. And it's like you, and this is why you need to transform. Perhaps some of you are stuck in a pattern of thinking or stuck in a way of doing things that hasn't been working for you. And for some of you, you may have been working other jobs or working for other people, trying to make things work. And you've realized now that maybe you need to work for yourself. Maybe you're releasing yourself from some sort of relationship here as well, because what you've been doing, what you're putting is not serving you. And you may be hanging on to this for the wrong reasons. You know, sometimes with relationships, we can see that they're, you know, past their use by date, but, you know, there's a security here about finances, or you may be tied to the person because of, you know, some sort of abuse or some sort of manipulation here. And for some of you, this has to do with finances. So it could be that you don't want to move away from a job and start your own business up because you don't feel financially you can manage that. But it also can be that you're worried about moving away from a relationship because you're either tied financially, or you are worried that you can make it financially if you move away from it. Okay, so we have the Prince of Wands coming in here. Now, the Prince of Wands is an energy of taking up passion. It's an energy that's very fleeting, and you sort of got to grab it when it comes through. Sometimes it's about doing something in the spur of the moment, like, you know, perhaps sending a message in the spur of a moment just to let someone know something. But it's done with a lot of passion briefly. So something is happening here. Someone here is making a decision to let go of something. Let's just keep going. Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Some of you here are feeling like you need to finally let go of something that's been holding you back. Now, it may be that you've gone deep inside with this Hermit and had a really good think about it, but I think with this Prince of Wands here, you have realised that you need to act quickly, because otherwise you cycle back. And then you can't make this decision because you're stuck back in this energy again of being bound to something that you know you need to let go of. You know you need to cut it out. But what you're doing here is you're going around in circles. There's this sort of feeling that you let it go and you realize it's not working, but then some sort of fear holds you back. So now you realize if you don't do it when you're feeling in the moment, it just doesn't go back. You keep going back into this hermit mode. I'm not sure why the Queen of Pentacles is here at the moment, but we do have the King of Wands coming out as well. Maybe it's making a move on a relationship or moving towards someone, because we do have the Empress here. Okay, so Five of Wands, rightio. So we have here a situation where, and I'll get into it, we'll just go back to this for a moment. Somebody is trying to transform the way they think. Someone's trying to close out a cycle here. And the cycle is around trying to move away from something in your life that you feel bound to. So there's either an obsession here, or there's been some of abuse. You may be in a karmic relationship. You may fear moving away from something, could be a job, because there may not be the financial support, or you're not worried, or you may not be able to work out how you can support yourself, even if it's not financially. It's like your fear being, because you're so dependent on this situation or this person, your fear is around, can you survive without that? Well, of course you can. And this card is telling you that. So this is about trying to get this transformation underway. I feel that you're trying to work on yourself and put yourself first here. There seems to be some sort of closing out of a cycle, but definitely moving forward here, taking this beautiful energy of the Queen of Wands on, being really persistent and determined here. But moving away from something that is not bringing you any happiness towards something that's going to bring you a great deal of joy. I feel that this situation for some people may be around a relationship. You may be in a relationship that you feel that you can't leave behind because you can't survive, which is all in your mind here. And you're hanging on to something for dear life, thinking if you leave it behind, it's going to be very difficult. You're cycling through something here. So it's like you finally get the idea of what you need to do, and to walk towards something. It's a relationship. It could be another job. It could be that you're trying to get out of a situation that you realize is keeping you trapped, and you don't want to be trapped. But what happens is it's like you make your mind up, you really understand where you are, you go deep inside yourself and you realize that you have to do it, and then you talk yourself out of it here. So it could be a marriage here with this Queen of Pentacles. It could be a relationship. Perhaps you've been Spirit's saying acclimatized too. So you've actually changed yourself to fit in with this situation, and you're realizing that when you have this passion, this drive, this King of Wands leadership energy, that you want to move on, you know that it's right to do that. But then there's this feeling that you're slipping back in. You're doing this Five of Wands thing here. Should I, shouldn't I, can I, can't I? Backwards and forwards, round and round in cycles. And I think you're realizing here, unless you sort of take this energy, this Knight or Prince of Wands energy, and move when the energy's right, it's just never going to happen. So I think you're starting to understand how you can escape from this energy now and get yourself away from whatever this situation is. So it's sort of like you've got to wait till you've got the passion, you've got to wait till you've got the drive. But in my experience, the more you sort of move forward with this sort of energy, the more you're starting to make the decision, the more this sort of passionate drive comes in. It stays around for longer, and makes you realize, and that's Spirit sort of saying, you can go round and round in circles with this, but at the end, we're going to make you do it whether you want to or not. So they keep investing in you, trying to get you moving forward. I have just shuffled the bum off those cards, and I got the card of happy out again, which is the same one that was in the What's Cracking read. So I want to say to you here, whatever this is, whatever you're going through here, yes, it's hard. Yes, you're going backwards and forwards. And yes, there are times when you really feel you cannot do this and you go back into your shell here. But what Spirit is saying here, it's possible. It's going to bring on this beautiful energy here of moving into that Empress energy, where you can birth something new and move towards what you want. So whether this is a job, a relationship, a situation here that's holding you back because you have this fear you cannot make it without this, then I want to say to you, the card of happy saying that at the end of the rainbow there is something far more beautiful than what you're currently experiencing. Have a wonderful day.